Thank you, Clint. Thank you, Wolf. Our final speaker today is none other than the coach, Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers, a great coach and a great man of God. I've already told him I wanted to play for him, but I'm too old. It's a great day. 8 years ago, Pastor Ed Glover and Coach Tomlin came together to start ManUp, and that was great.
Yeah, Pastor Ed and I probably started having a conversation probably 10 years ago now, just brainstorming and trying to let God lead us in terms of what we could do to be impactful. And I've always respected the work that he's done on the north side and in that community with his ministry, Urban Impact. And through those conversations and prayer, ManUp was born. And we're 8 years in now, and really excited about being with you here today. And obviously, thank you for your participation, man. It's been critical over the years.
It's been an honor hanging out with you, Mike. It's been an honor. Thank you for tuning in today and taking a stand against fatherlessness wherever you are. For over 30 years, Pastor Ed and Tammy Glover have been working on the north side of Pittsburgh to fight this issue. And through Urban Impact, have been able to help transform thousands of lives. Each year, Urban Impact serves over 2,300 children and youth through the programs in athletics, education, performing arts, and options, our post-high school preparation programs. We are going to show you a video about a young man named Mario. Mario attended many Urban Impact programs as a student and has now a successful career in construction as a concrete mason. We're going to watch this video, and after, I know Coach Tomlin has some things he wants to share about being a dad 3.
So I met Mario when he was in 8th grade. He used to come to the school where I was working to play basketball, and he had a cousin who attended that school, and his cousin really looked up to him. And so immediately I could see that Mario had leadership qualities.
I didn't want to get involved with UIF in the beginning because I didn't know who those people were. I was just a kid that liked eating pizza and playing basketball. I decided to go, and haven't turned back since. It started off as eating pizza and playing basketball to playing on the AAU team in middle school and high school, being baptized after graduating from high school, and now working for and with UIF with Job Inc.
He came to me last fall. He was interested in the trades. We bought him tools, we bought him equipment. Doing such in that 6 months we spent with him, and the time we spent stopping and teaching moments, he's now leading a very successful young career in the construction industry. He's making a great wage, and he's doing very well for himself. He is the focus, or he is an example of the focus of what this ministry is really about.
I see a great future for Mario, and my prayer is that he will walk closely with the Lord and be accountable to God and not waver in his faith and just be steadfast, unmovable, like the Bible says, always abounding in the Word of God. I really see great things in his future.
Hi, I'm Mike Tomlin, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, it's a blessing to be with you today in any form, to be honest with you. I think I've learned many lessons through this pandemic crisis. One of them is an appreciation for connecting with people and pivoting and doing the things that we need to do to stay connected with others. And so to be able for us to pivot in this ManUp event and get to you in this platform is something that I don't take for granted. As a matter of fact, I'm encouraged and hopeful. Like a lot in life, man, I think through the challenges that are presented to us here at ManUp, through the current circumstance, man, maybe in pivoting, we have an opportunity to touch more people and to influence more lives in the ways that we desire to through this program. in this platform. I've learned many lessons through this pandemic. I'm pampered in life. I have a lot of support, personal assistance, and so forth. I've grown in a technological sort of way, having to serve myself remotely. We've conducted NFL draft remotely and had necessary meetings. I've had staff meetings and proceeded to lead my staff of men through the off season in terms of professional growth and schematic things. And since the draft, we've really delved into instructing our guys and interacting with our guys through a variety of platforms and teaching them football. Obviously, all of these things are outside, my personal comfort zone. So in the midst of the discomfort, I recognize that I've grown a lot. Grown a lot personally. In the spring of the year, I travel a lot, whether it's personal or professional. Professional, I have draft prep that takes me to virtually every corner of this country in preparation for the draft, and then personal travel, just getting an opportunity to support my kids and vacation and so forth with my wife, the things that you do during the off season. The pandemic changed all of that, and, it's been a blessing. It settled me down, man, and really gave me an opportunity to focus on other things, to appreciate things that maybe I don't often get an opportunity to. I'm a member of a family that's always on the go. Obviously, I do what I do. My wife runs a business, have very active kids who participate in various activities in school and so forth. And, through the pandemic, we've had an opportunity, man, we all did, to pause a little bit and appreciate family and appreciate the moments that you get to connect with one another. We actually break bread together. That used to be a treat. Through the pandemic, it became a regular event, and I'm thankful for that. And I've learned a lot. And so, through that experience, I realized that us pivoting in this platform is going to be a great thing, and I thank you for participating in that, particularly if you're a first-time participant. We're also dealing with some circumstances right now in America as we fight for social justice that's been very problematic on a lot of fronts. It started with a horrific murder that we all witnessed a number of weeks back, and kind of some subsequent protests and counter-protests, and a lot of things have been politicized and positions taken and so forth. A lot of it has been really good and growth opportunities, and people are talking honestly and openly, and people are listening, and maybe even sometime, in some instances, for the first time. I tend to focus on those things. Obviously, there have been some negative things, like I mentioned, the politicizing of the events and people utilizing these unfortunate events and circumstances for their own personal gains or agendas. In the midst of it all, because of the position that I hold, I've been asked a lot about my feelings regarding that and what's transpired, asked to deliver personal statements and so forth. And through it all, largely, I have remained silent. And I've remained silent by choice, by design, at least temporarily, and I've done so thoughtfully. And I want to tell you why. I'm a guy that tries to live my life by doing as opposed to saying, and really being proactive in action in terms of reactive. I've always kind of had that agenda, the better part of my adult life. I just, want to live in that consciousness. So I'm hesitant to make statements in reaction to what's transpired. Because I'm hoping that I live a life that displays my position, not only in the subjects that we're talking about in this instance, but on a lot of subjects. And I hope that my position is displayed not in my words, but in my actions and how I move and how I live. Besides that, I'm very emotional about the current circumstances. And when I get emotional, I don't eloquently express myself. My message gets lost. It does. What I intend to say somehow gets twisted. And let's be honest, in this climate, no matter what people like me or people in the positions that I hold say, it's in some way going to be politicized and used against us or used for some agenda that may have nothing to do with our position or what we're saying. And so that's why I've sat in my basement largely in an effort to collect myself and to collect my thoughts. Because if I make any statement, it's going to be in conjunction with action or a plan of action that's geared toward the result that I'm interested in. That's how I move. That's how I encourage my football team or our football team to live and to move. We've talked collectively a lot about these present circumstances, and when you're a member of a football team, you really realize what a blessed opportunity you have, because football brings together a group of men of various backgrounds and upbringings and beliefs, and we chase one common goal or desired result. And in the midst of that, man, we gain so much respect for the other men and our differences. And that respect allows us to learn and grow and hear other perspectives. And equally important and is in a big-time important element of that is it's an environment where men can talk honestly and openly. And so obviously the current circumstances provided a lot of opportunity for that. And as a head coach, I'm a facilitator of that. We've had some awesome discussions. And one of the things that I'm always talking about in the midst of those discussions is what I talked about at the beginning of this is, you know, statements are nice, but making an impact is more significant. And so I support our guys in their willingness to speak out. I support our guys in their willingness to state their position in the current state of affairs. I want to assist them in every way. Our organization wants to assist them in every way in utilizing their platform in the ways that they desire. But it's important that they proceed thoughtfully. It's important that any statements or comments are backed up with action, and not only short-term action, but continual action that produces real change. And that's why I'm excited about ManUp and being a part of ManUp this year and the vision that Pastor Ed and I share in starting this 8 years ago now. We recognize, among many things, that our community has big-time issues as it relates to fatherlessness. And it touches a chord with me, and I'm a guy that takes action. And so we started talking and praying about how we could impact the fatherlessness in our community here in Pittsburgh, and specifically Pittsburgh initially. Thankfully, over the course of years, we've been able to maybe expand that thought process. We are expanded to Charlotte, and now through the challenges that the pandemic has produced, man, maybe even beyond in this platform, and that's exciting. But in doing so, I want to explain to you why, personally, I've been called to take action. And in the significant portion of my talk today, what am I trying to get done? I'm trying to drive you to action. My challenge for the Man Up crew this year is the Dad 3 Challenge. And it says this, that you are willing to attack fatherlessness in your city. You're willing to take tangible action to attack fatherlessness in your community. It's easy to make statements. It's easy to state your position, state a position that fatherlessness is a problem in our country. It's easy to state a position that is something that needs to be attacked. It's easy even to write checks, and I don't want to talk bad about writing checks. Obviously, financial support is significant, but it's easy. It's easier than taking action. And not only action, but continual action to attack it. And as I stand here in a glass house. I challenge you in 2020, in the midst of all that's going on, our emotions and so forth, in the midst of all that's going on, to take action in this one specific area that's passionate to me, to be active participants in the lives of young people in your city, man, who lack a father. It's going to be a big challenge for me this year, to be quite honest with you. I'm a grassroots sort of guy. I'm always looking at what I can touch because I'm looking for real, impactful interaction and relationships. And over the course of the last several years, many years, and most of the years that we've been doing this Man Up, it's been easy for me to take this initiative to action because of my kids. Through my kids' activities, man, I come in contact with a lot of kids from my community, many of which who are fatherless. And so it provides opportunities for me to do what my mouth says, to have continual positive, godly interaction with them and be an impact in their lives, and to help facilitate growth in them to be what it is I know they need me to be. As my kids get older, I have one who's 19, who's a freshman in college. I have one who's 18, a son who's headed off this summer to New York, to Columbia. And I got a 14-year-old daughter who essentially stays in her bedroom with the door closed, like most 14-year-olds. My challenge is, as I move to this phase in life where maybe don't have opportunities in close proximity, to be bold, man, to get out and to continue to seek these interactions, to seek opportunities to develop these relationships that allow me to be what I know these kids need me to be. Why do I have that mentality? Why do I have that commitment? Those that have come to this Man Up event in the past know my story. I live what is perceived to be a privileged life, and it is. I'm extremely blessed, not only to do what it is I get to do, but to have the relationships, to be able to connect with people in the ways that I am, to utilize my vocation as a platform for my individual ministries that I'm inspired to partake in. But I'm a fatherless kid in a lot of ways. My parents separated, man, very early in my life, man, before my first birthday. Along with my mother and my older brother, I moved back in with my grandparents, my mother's parents. And it was myself and my mother and my brother with my grandparents and two aunt and uncles. I'm in a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, and, you know, the challenges of growing up in that environment. in a working class or lower working class community. It was an interesting upbringing, man. As time wore on, I had little to no contact with my father. But later in life, I realized that I had a lot of ridiculous, awesome surrogate fathers. Starting with my grandfather, who I lived in the house with until I was age 5. He was a community man, a laborer by trade, but much, much more a fisherman, a church trustee, a community service guy, really highly active in the soup kitchens in our community and so forth. And I was this little guy. And forget what he said, because he was a man of few words, he was a man of action. And I just simply followed him in his daily routines, man, and he provided an awesome, godly, fatherly influence for me. And then my older brother, who was 4 years older than me, who slept in the same bed as me for the first 5 years of my life. And then when we were able to move out of my grandparents' house, he slept in a bed about 2 feet away from my bed. My brother's not perfect by any stretch. None of us are. He had the trials and challenges of being a young, fatherless young man and made a lot of mistakes. But I'm so appreciative of my brother, because he was the type of big brother that provided fatherly guidance for me. Forget what he was doing and how he was behaving. He always held me to a higher standard, man, and provided a surrogate father figure for me, somebody that wanted more for me than he even wanted for himself. And then I participated in a lot of sport activities and had coaches that acted as a surrogate father and provided godly, positive influences in my life and provided clarity for me, oftentimes in a period of life where there was no clarity. Later on in life, man, my mother remarried and my stepdad came into my life. And I mentioned him last, but I definitely saved the best for last because, man, he raised me as if I was his own and provided that love and guidance and support that young people need. And as I got older and as I became a dad and I wanted to work my tail off to be the very best dad I could be, I gained an appreciation for those surrogate fathers. And I wanted to be that. And I wanted to encourage others. And so that's the spirit in which I approached Pastor Ed, and, those conversations and lunches and prayer turned into ManUp, and now we're 8 years later. And we're talking about current circumstances like the pandemic, current circumstances like the fight for social justice. In the midst of all of that, we're challenging you. Dad 3 challenge from me personally. You want to have an impact? You want to make a statement, and don't get me wrong, statements are great. Take action. And in that spirit of being a man of action, making an impact, as opposed to statements, I challenge this group, this ManUp Group 2020, to make an impact, to touch the lives of the fatherless in your communities, to be active participants in enriching their lives in a godly way. Men, these issues are real. We need to be about solutions, not just talking about the problems. Urban Impact is and has been a part of that solution. Now Tunch will join me and talk to you about a way that you can attack and be a part of this process.
Great job, Mike.
Thank you, brother.
Great job, brother.
Thank you.
God bless you. Urban Impact wants all their kids to have a story like Mario's. Men, you have the unique opportunity today to help make that vision a reality. You can make a difference and help provide a solution of the epidemic of fatherlessness right where you sit. This has been a rough few months in our country. Many want to help but don't know how. Here's your chance. For just $29 a month, you can invest in the future of a child by providing them a spiritual leader, an enriching program, and a mentor. This is the role filled every day by Urban Impact's urban missionaries who live in the North Side, communities among the children and their families, and they serve. They need your help. Every dollar donated up to $5,000 will be matched by Coach Mike Tomlin. I know you wanted it anonymous, but I had to call it out. And you follow the instructions at the bottom of your screen, and please donate today. God bless you for being here, and thank you for donating. I'm going to have Wolf and Pastor Ed come back out here.
Now, we didn't forget about Dad 4. Dad 4 is simple. Come back next year.
And bring a friend.
You're not going to want to miss the live conference in 2021.